Siri, I'm looking for a new podcast, one that preferably is hosted by a UF Hall of Famer, one that airs every weekday that would bring me everything I need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions. Siri, is there such a show?
Have you heard of PodUp with Matthews in the morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or any podcast platform?
Oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? UF Hall of Famer Shane Matthews has a show every weekday. I'm gonna go check it out tomorrow. Thanks, Siri.
Good morning. It's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It's Wednesday. Happy Valentine's to all our loyal listeners around the world. Have a great day. We have JC, then we'll have the head ball coach of the baseball team, Kevin O'Sullivan.
Oh, good.
So we'll talk a little baseball. Gators win last night, 82-80, had a 20-point lead. Give the Tigers some credit for coming back.
Yeah.
I already have a million texts here about we can't hold it. Look, both teams, last time I checked, LSU gets scholarships.
Yeah.
LSU is coached.
You sure they're not all walk-ons, QB?
We played extremely well and shot like 70% to get that 20-point lead. They're going to make runs. So the bottom line is winning the basketball game. You could be A&M, who lost on a buzzer beater to the Commodes up in Vandy.
Yeah. So. Crazy basketball last night. I mean,
so Paul says here on Facebook Live, teams now have a formula to beat us. Play a zone. We get stagnant, too much dribbling. Look, to beat zones, you got to make shots. And when you miss shots, which all teams go through it, we could be North Carolina today. They lost at sorry-ass Syracuse last night. Okay? You won the game, move on and get ready for Georgia.
I mean, in the ACC, they're lucky if they get 5 teams in the big dance, I think, when you think about it. This is a tough league, Even the mediocre teams like LSU can give you headaches. But I think Florida, the only thing that really concerned me last night was I think if we get into some close games at the end of the year, free throws are going to be an important thing. And they only shot 60% last night. They've had a better free throw shooting, I think, in recent games, though. So perhaps their confidence is getting back. But, with Florida, it's about the guard play. And Clayton last night was the answer. And if it's not him, it's Richard. If it's not Richard, it's Pullen. But I think that Florida, 82 points. That's the way I look at it. 82 points and another win, and they're 17-7 right now overall, and that would be something like 5th or 6th in the league. Keep it going. You got 2 tough games coming up on the road. I know Georgia's slumping right now, but there will be nothing easy about that game. We all remember the way Georgia came back in the second half up here and forced overtime in the last game they played, and then of course you're going to have to go to Alabama and make a bunch of baskets to keep up with them. So a tough week coming up, but you held the home court and you defended it in the last 2 games. And by the way, I do not feel like this is baseball weather, but I am excited about the baseball team and what Kevin O is going to tell us here in a few minutes on the podcast, because this team is ranked number 2 in D1 baseball. Number 2. And I know
they lost a lot of good players, though, boy.
But they did, but they reload, man. That's what Florida does. It reloads, just like the Oklahoma softball team. Patty Gasso just reloads. I think Florida's going to be fine. They're ranked number 2. Everybody knows they lost players, but they're still ranked number 2 starting off the year.
Text on the Titan More text line from Lee in Lake City says, ask Corndog about last night when UF's Golden Boy and men's basketball had both SEC network announcers, Tom Hart and Dane Bradshaw, begging for a phantom foul on the last LSU possession at the end of the game.
Well, I'm surprised the LSU guy missed that shot there to force overtime. He's wide open from 3 feet. But, LSU only has themselves to blame for missing that shot. Nobody touched that guy. Did you see him get fouled on that last shot?
Not really.
I don't think he did. But if he did, he did. If he didn't, he didn't. Listen, they almost came back. But almost isn't good enough. And if you win by 2 or if you win by 20, it counts the same, QB. Did you know that?
Last time I checked, it does.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yep.
And we, in the SEC, it's hard to win on the road. LSU almost forced overtime, but they lost. Okay, and Ole Miss lost to Kentucky, and so forth. So, Virginia, though the mighty Cavaliers, having a hot run right now, they get bombed at home by the Pittsburgh Panthers last night by 11 points. How about, North Carolina, the mighty Tar Heels? They lose to Syracuse. I mean, this is a long slog, man. It's a grind in the basketball world as we go through February into March. It's a grind. These dudes right here are playing great basketball, and right now they're one of the hotter teams in the country. But not everybody can turn it on and off every night. And I was a little concerned about the letdown factor with LSU coming in, but they jumped out to a big enough lead to hold on in the second half. QB, that's all there is to it.
Yeah. On YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing Rod, says Shane, I know this is off topic. Wish you could get the GOAT Mike Holloway on your show. Mouse has been on my show multiple times. We'll get him on.
Everybody's
eventually.
fast.
These guys are busy. That's what people don't understand. They're busy. They don't just sit around wanting to go on my damn show. I can promise you that.
8 o'clock, 8 a.m. They are working.
Well, they're probably in meetings or they're traveling. I mean, a lot of stuff is, they just don't sit around and worry about podcasts right now. There was somebody on here I wanted to read. Brian says, no, this is Daniel. I didn't see a foul, by the way. Shane, you had to have seen the transfer portal commercial if you watched the game. I had a couple of people email me the transfer portal commercial. I've not watched it because I've been busy. But here's how I watch games.
It's funny.
I do not watch commercials. I'm flipping to another game.
Yes.
I probably watched more of the A&M ending and missed a lot of our game because it was pretty good.
How about that? A&M, big winners at home. Everybody thinks they're the hot thing, and then they lose to the worst team in the league. So, this is SEC grind. It's a grind. It's a grind. It's a grind. I can't preach that enough.
Radware is a family-owned business that prides itself in excellent customer service while providing quality and affordable promotional products and customized apparel. We got JC. We'll be doing our Peachland Dental golf picks for Riviera here momentarily. We'll have Kevin O'Sullivan. JC, I screenshot this. I thought this was interesting. I saw yesterday back to the National Football League. Let me pull it up here. It was a comparison between Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan. So listen to Andy Reid. He went from 2001 through 2004 with the Eagles. Yeah. He went NFC Championship loss, NFC Championship loss, NFC Championship loss, Super Bowl loss. Yeah. And then 15 years later, won his first Super Bowl. Shanahan's gone from 19 to 23, Super Bowl loss, championship loss, Super Bowl loss. So, they're both damn good coaches. That's all I can say.
You can't blame Kyle when he was the OC for the Atlanta Falcons.
That's not even on here.
I know, but he was the OC for the Falcons, and they should have won it if their coach hadn't made a critical error in judgment in the fourth quarter. We've talked about this ad nauseum, but Kyle is he's just snake bit right now, QB. I mean, San Francisco played good enough to win that game. It could have gone either way. We all know this, but nobody had any doubt that Pat Mahomes was going to take the Chiefs down the field and either get a field goal or win the game. Nobody had any doubt about it, QB. And that's why he is a rare talent that you should just embrace and watch him play. Some folks don't like him because they say he whines a lot if he doesn't get his way. Some folks love him, though, because they say he's the next generational. Well, he is a generational talent.
He will be the best to ever play the game.
So there you have it. But you cannot deny whether you have a bias and don't like him, or if you do like him, you cannot deny his results. Otherwise, you can't be taken seriously if you do. The guy is a supreme obvious talent. And I think the Chiefs, they're going to draft. Look, I think they're going to keep most of their team intact.
They need wideouts.
They're going to draft some players to help out on the offensive side. But, man, Chris Jones, he's going to have to be re-signed. He only signed a one-year deal. And he was just as responsible, in my opinion, for winning that Super Bowl as anybody. And so they know that. They're not idiots. And they'll get him, they gave him a huge incentive-laden contract to begin the season. They gave him a good, annual salary. But he wants a long-term deal like Quentin Williams of the Jets signed, something like that, in the $90 to $115 million range. Yeah, I think he's still got plenty of tread left on the tires. Give him a 5-year deal and let him ride off into the sunset in Kansas City. He's won you 2 Super Bowls or helped you win at least 2 Super Bowls. You keep that dude. You don't let him go. And they won't. Yeah. I don't think they will.
Tony being very serious says Mahomes' athleticism reminds him of me. I hid most of my talent there. I didn't use it all to my
Tony,
ability.
I like Tony. Tony has this sense of humor that I really do relate to. I like Tony.
Jerry asked, "Is
He's
Tony
funny. Tony's funny as hell.
Kadarius Tony gone
Oh,
from the Chiefs?"
yeah.
I don't know what his contract situation is, but if he's still under contract, I think they release him.
Yeah, they won without him. I mean, he
Yeah,
was a member.
I'm telling you, he was a great player at times, both in college and the pros. He is not an every down wide receiver you can count on. He just does not catch the ball well. People
Right.
want to criticize me for saying that, but that's a fact, people.
Why would they criticize you for saying that? Are they not watching? I
No,
mean, the guy
I don't
does.
know. I get criticized like JC, but I don't really give a damn.
QB, you're in the spotlight. You know, you've got the #1 rated 8 a.m. podcast in the area.
In the world,
Well, in this
Rod,
area, you're #1, bro.
Rod says Mahomes and Purdy goes to show you those recruiting rankings don't mean much. Both were 3 stars, all about coaching a kid who has heart. Yeah, I mean Mahomes is like I said the other day, the highest rated quarterback in the Super Bowl was Juwan Jennings, who ended up being a wide receiver in college and in the pros. He was the highest rated out of everybody in that game. But Mahomes has a unique skill set. Purdy will play a long, long time because he just does things you can't teach.
And listen, Mahomes would have played a year earlier if Alex Smith wasn't starting. They let Alex Smith run it out, and Mahomes stood on the sideline that season the entire year. I don't know if people know that. He was on the roster when Alex Smith played his final season in Kansas City. Did you know that, QB?
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been in the league 7 years. He's been a starter for 6 years.
That's right.
So he had to
and they
sit behind
couldn't
Alex
wait.
Smith.
They couldn't wait to get him in there. They just couldn't afford to sit Alex Smith because of what they were paying him.
Yeah, Rodney wants to know, did we find a strength and conditioning coach? I've not heard, but it doesn't mean they're not lifting weights, Rodney. I promise you they are. There's enough people in that building that know how to lift weights.
I wouldn't worry, guys.
Tony says Chad at Planet Fitness will be the new strength coach. Maybe we should have JC be the new strength coach.
Oh, hey, more. Do another one. Another rep. Another rep. Another rep. Let's go. Keep going. I just, these are things that I am amazed people think about. I'm amazed. It's just what they think about, I guess. And it's not a criticism. I'm not trying to criticize you guys. If you want to think about these assistants, you go ahead for it. But it just is not that interesting to me.
George on the Titan MR hotline says, Shane, what did you think about Clayton's dunk last night? Man, it was one of the best dunks I've ever seen.
Guys, I love
he's only about 6'1", I think.
Remember, guys, to win in the tournament, you must have great guard play.
We do have great guards.
And they've got some ballers on that side of the court. And they've got a nice mix of height to play in the front court. I'm not a basketball expert. I'm 5'8.5", almost 9. Okay. But I can watch enough to tell you that guard play, I've watched it in the Final Four my whole life. Guard play is why they win. And, you can get the occasional big guy like Anthony Davis to take over a game, certainly. But it's guard play, guard play, guard play. And that's what's going to keep you alive, I think, in the tournament. They force that.
Greg says, can we get Riley Kugel's dad to be our strength coach? Just because the guy's big does not mean he's a good strength coach. Who knows what he's drinking or taking.
He is an imposing individual.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He's a big guy. But just because you're big, he's probably all stiff and can't move. You don't want people that are stiff.
Oh yeah.
Gene wanted to know if you're buying any of the new Tiger Sunday apparel that he partnered with TaylorMade, and so he has a new logo. It's basically it looks like one of the old Bengals logos. Quite honestly, it's the whole body of the tiger, but it's called Sunday something. I think Sunday Apparel.
Well, he's the host.
I will not buy any of it, by the way.
But
I don't care for that kind of stuff.
What does it mean when they say Tiger Woods is hosting the Genesis Invitation? What is he hosting? Is he how do you host a tournament?
He's the host, so his name is on there because he's I think he does commercials for the Genesis vehicles.
Does that mean he invites you to the big party on Wednesday night?
I don't know if there's a party or what, but I don't know.
Hosted by Tiger Woods. It's hosted. I mean, you have to be invited. Tiger's hosting you. But it's a good tournament. It's the biggest one, I think, on this side of the country at this time of year before they move to Florida. So, yeah.
Nat says you're stretching it on your height, JC.
Nat, I saw Nat at the baseball. I know, 5'8.5". That's what it is. That's what it is. That's 5'8.5".
All right, Joseph. Joseph, who I'm trying to
state.
bring some positivity into Joseph's life. A
Poor
Sunday
Joseph.
Red is what it's called. There's the logo. They
Sunday.
just put it up there. That's a
Okay.
terrible logo, by the way.
Right.
Gene says JC is 5'8" with shoes on. But Joseph said, JC, if the assistants don't matter, let's quit giving Billy a pass. All the shenanigans that happen must be his fault if the assistants don't matter.
Listen, I'm not saying they don't matter, but I am amazed at the case study of the constant attention to the assistants. And I don't give Billy a pass. I have flat out said he has been below par, as you would keep it at Florida standards in these first 2 years. You cannot deny the record. It's like Dennis Green always said, folks, you are what your record says you are. And he is 11-14. That is not a pass. And I don't give him a pass, but you cannot, you have to accept the fact that he's not going anywhere, folks, because of the contractual obligations the University of Florida made to him. Just forget it. They're not letting him go this year. They're not letting him go next year. I think he's got at least 2 more years to fix this system and to get this team right. Even if he goes 3-8 next year, 3-9, I don't think they're going to let him go because I don't think they want to write the check and they don't want to have the turnover constant like Auburn. You know, we're not Auburn. Auburn is the most dysfunctional program in the Southeastern Conference when it comes to coaches. They can't get it right. And how many people out there in Auburn are jumping up and down for Hugh Freeze right now after what he just put them through? He's going to be fine. I think they'll be good, but he still didn't get a quarterback in this offseason. So, you tell me. He's not the guy playing. So, listen, Florida's – this guy's not going anywhere, but I'm not giving him a pass. His record is lousy.
31M Burr on YouTube says, what do you mean I don't buy that kind of stuff? Referring to I'm a big logo guy and brand. I ain't going to buy a tailor-made golf shirt. I don't like Tiger's logo. I never bought anything with the TW on it. I just didn't like it. I buy about, well, I'm fortunate that I'm given some of it, but I don't wear, I've yet to wear a Jordan brand shirt, polo, because I think it's silly, quite honestly. I'll wear the hell out of some Peter Millar, Johnny O, or Vineyard Vines, or any of that kind of stuff. It fits me better, and it's better quality. And it's mostly golf related stuff. But I'm a logo guy. I absolutely love the swinging Gator. It's my favorite logo there is. Mm-hmm. There's some Gator logos I do not like. I do not like the bubble font Gator script. I won't wear anything with that on it. I hate it.
I don't like.
So that's what I meant. 31 and Burr. I think Tiger's logo. I really don't like it at all.
Do you like the old 70s, 80s Gator logo with the U and the F, the alligator standing, laying there? It's a circle. It's a circle.
The Pale. They call it the Pale logo. I do like that logo. It's a cool
like
logo.
That? Okay.
It's a good logo. So,
well, yeah, to me.
But I'm picky
it's always
about
been the barrel-chested Gator with the beanie.
I think they need to go back to the old Albert.
Yeah, absolutely, 1,000%. The Robo Gator never did it for me. When Foley hired a New York consulting firm and overpaid for that logo, I never jumped on board. But that's what it is. The robot Gator face that they currently have. With the
I don't know what that is. You talking about the circle Gator?
Yeah,
the oval Gator.
No, the one right now. Yeah,
the Gator like head.
Yeah, that everybody wears.
That's not a Robo Gator. That's
just
a Gator
like
head.
This cartoon Gator. I'm not a big fan. But listen, QB, they did what they did. It's kind of like Exact Tech Arena at the Stephen C. O'Connell Center on Billy Donovan Court. It's just too much. There's too much there. Yeah. There's too much. Too much.
Yeah.
Too many teeth. You got the teeth on that alligator.
The Florida script. I agree with Tony. I do like the Florida script. So, anyway, we're regressing here on.
Well, we're talking about your school, QB. I mean, I went there for 2 years too. Yeah. I wouldn't call that.
Mike says he likes the stomping Gator. I'm not sure what the stomping Gator is.
I don't know what that is.
So,
I like
it when they logo. Yeah, the Pell logo is the one I like a lot.
Yeah, you like that one. Okay.
Everett says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, what was the Black National Anthem doing at the Super Bowl? Wonder what Don Shula would say. I didn't
I
see
didn't
any of the national anthem, so
I
I can't.
didn't even know that was I didn't know there was a Black National. See how much I don't know. Didn't know about that. I didn't
31
know.
Ember says if Tiger can design some cool shoes, he will succeed. I would say he has succeeded. He is wearing FootJoys. He's not doing shoes. It's already been said that the clothing line and hat line will be done by TaylorMade, and the shoes he will wear will be
Well,
FootJoys.
now that we've got Tiger Woods dressed up, and now that he's hosting, I think we've covered the freaking LA Genesis. Other than
But we haven't. We got to do our
who's won?
Peachland
Yeah, who's
Dentistry.
won?
Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry, Port Charlotte
Okay.
surrounding areas. Visit them at peachlanddental.com. It's our golf picks for the week.
All
All right,
well,
JC, you go first.
Yeah, I'm going to start it off with a guy who I thought played quite well last week. Kind of was under the radar, but he is a 3-time major champion, and that would be one Jordan Spieth from the University of Texas. I'm going to go with him.
Taking a Longhorn. I will go with a Cal Bear for my first pick.
Oh, yeah.
And I will take Colin Morikawa.
Yeah, he'll play well on this course. Very comfortable in this setting with the grass there, LA, all that. Okay, so that's not a surprise. I think I'm going to go with another guy who I think he's coming back from just an awful injury. He's a young guy. This is kind of a long shot, but I think he's a supreme talent when he's healthy, and that's Will Zalatoris.
Willie Z.
Who's a great player, but he's been
banged up. He had back surgery. Tony wants me to pick Baltong Tai.
Bai Tai Tong.
Bai Tai Tong.
Bai Tai Tong. That's the
best.
Well,
I'm not going to pick Bai Tai Tong. I'm going to pick another California kid from the Pepperdine Wave, Sahith Theegala, who played real well
last week. You were on him last week. His putter let him down on Sunday, but he's a great hitter of the golf ball. And here's another great striker of the golf ball, Tony Finau. Tony Finau is going to be my third pick.
All right, I'm going to go with Cameron Young.
Bomber. He's an absolute bomber, but he hasn't won yet.
You get one more pick.
Okay, one more pick. We will go with, I love the way Kurt Kitayama's playing. I'm not going to take him, though. I think I'm going to take Xander Schauffele. Very comfortable in California. Plays well there. Give me Xander Schauffele, Jordan Spieth, Will Zalatoris, and Tony Finau. Those are
my last pick. I'm going to go with Ju Young Kim, better known as Tom.
I mean, no kidding. QB, you are so repetitive on your picks. You pick almost.
Not really. Not really.
Oh, really? No, not really. Well, you haven't picked a Schauffele yet. Do you ever sit around on the weekend looking at it and think of what you picked on Wednesday?
I do. I come back in I go back into the office and I look and see what I jotted down here.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's going to be one day when I pick nothing but South Koreans, the entire roster.
But
we'll
you have to pronounce their names. Every one of them.
So I was I forgot where we were playing golf. Maybe it was last weekend, and somehow we were waiting for the group in front of us. And no, it's because the guy I was playing with is like best friends with Paul Tesori. Right. And so he's like, yeah, he just got Tom Kim. And I said, dude, he didn't really know much about Tom Kim. And I filled him in on Ju Young. I said, look, I love the South Koreans. And one of your very close friends go, well, why don't you like the North Koreans? I said, well, I don't think they play golf.
I know exactly that's the question. You don't know that. See, he wouldn't even know that the North Koreans don't play golf.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even know that. He would.
All right, so that's our Peachland Dental picks for the week for the
North Koreans QB.
Joseph, back to
who's the president?
The golf talk.
By the way, who is the president of who's the dictator of North Korea? What's his name?
We were trying to think of his name. We know it's that crazy ass dude.
Want me to tell you what it is?
It's like something Kim or
it's a Kim family.
Yeah. Nobody cares.
Kim Jong
Young or something. Yeah.
No, Kim Jong Un.
Yeah, who cares?
I'm just asking.
Joseph says, QB, I saw Florida Victorious is building a second house with Habitat for Humanity. Don't get me wrong. I think the gesture's very nice, but isn't it their job to raise money for NIL and not build homes? No wonder we don't. No wonder where to go. It went away. So anyway, so here's how Florida Victorious. It's part of their contract. So if JC is a fullback that's part of Florida Victorious and getting paid X amount of dollars through NIL through Florida Victorious,
Okay.
he is obligated to participate in different charity events, whether it's at the Bread Almighty, you got to go there and volunteer, you got to go help build a house. If you don't show up, you get docked your pay. If you're late, you get docked pay. So it's kind of part of their job. So that, I don't know if that helped explain it, but that's why they're doing those type of things.
Well, speaking of jobs, I think Dartmouth voted to unionize their basketball team. By the way, their basketball team's not that good. But in the Ivy League, for all those keeping score, Yale is the team that looks to make the tournament this year. They're the best team. And by the way, QB, in basketball tonight, I had to mention this because, you know, we talk about all the good teams all the time. But how about this one tonight in Detroit, where the Detroit Mercy Titans are 0-26.
Are you serious?
Hosting the IUPUI. Can you tell me what that stands for?
That would be Indiana University, Purdue University at IUPUI in Indianapolis.
Right. And that's exactly right. And they are 6-20. They are the Jaguars, and the Detroit Mercy Titans at 0-26, 11th in the Horizon League, are a 5.5 point favorite. Just a little nugget there on tonight's basketball.
They have not won a basketball game. That's interesting.
0-26, but they are a 5.5 point favorite over the Jaguars tonight in Detroit. How about that? I wonder what kind of a
JC, how weird is that school? IUPUI, because you got two in-state Power 5 schools or whatever you want, institutions.
Yeah, sure.
But they're one combined little small college.
That's right.
You know, you got the Hoosiers and the Boilermaker fans. I don't even know what IUPUI mascot is.
I just told you it's a Jaguar.
Oh, they're the Jaguars. Okay.
They're the Jaguars, and they play in Indianapolis. That's where the school is, in Indianapolis. And of course, Detroit Mercy is in Detroit. 0-26. But they're a favorite tonight.
I want to say Detroit Mercy's back where like Dick Vitale coached at one point.
Detroit Mercy, that's it. Yeah. And well, you know, what are you gonna say? I didn't know a team that was 0-26. 11.
I didn't either. I had no idea that, and they're favorites tonight, huh?
I had to point that out. Tonight in the league, in our league, you've got a really good game tonight in Auburn, QB, between the very loose and confident South Carolina Gamecocks. Columbia is now a basketball city.
Where's this game at?
It's in Auburn. So they are laying 11.5 points to the Gamecocks. Somebody was I heard a story yesterday about the Gamecocks who were at the Atlantis Casino in the Bahamas, I think earlier at some point. I don't know when it was, but the basketball team was on the floor playing blackjack. And the basketball team was doing some really goofy things like splitting face cards, splitting pen. But they were at the table just yucking it up and hamming it up and having a great time. This is so the point of that story is that I think you've got a very loose and confident basketball team that like each other, and they are playing like they like each other.
Or kids that don't know how to play blackjack.
And the moral of the story is, if anybody at your table splits face cards or splits tens, you get out of there as fast as you can. Cash out, shove them in the middle, leave the dealer a $5 chip, and get the hell out of there, man, because they will screw up your deck if there is such a thing.
All right, JC, this is for you. This is for you. Live a healthier lifestyle with our bold, flavorful smoothies and our amazing food. Tropical smoothie. When you eat better, JC, you feel better.
That is a fact. And like I said, I got on the sushi over the weekend, brother, at Bai Tai Tong, and I felt fantastic over the weekend. No bloating, no gas. It was wonderful. Bai Tai Tong, the best sushi on A1A. I'm going to call them and see if they want to sponsor the show. And then they can sponsor the Korean golfer of the week, even though I don't think it's Korean. I think it's Thailand. It's Thai food, but it's sushi. It's amazing. It's so good.
They would like isn't Christian Bezos, isn't he Thai?
Bazoidenheit?
However you pronounce it.
Right. The other game tonight, we're going to have a pronounce contest, see if we can get these guys' names down. Tennessee is at Arkansas, QB. Tennessee got bombed the other day at Texas A&M, and Arkansas has been a colossal disappointment this year with Musselman, Eric Musselman.
Yeah.
Tennessee, 8.5-point favorite in Arkansas, could go. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Hogs win, but Tennessee is a big favorite in that game. So those are the only two conference games I think we have tonight. A lot of them.
I think some other teams have their bye week before Saturday.
Right.
So
there you go.
Good stuff as always, JC.
Okay.
We'll talk to you on Friday. We're gonna take a break and come back and talk a little baseball with Kevin O'Sullivan. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch. Duffield Home Improvements for your window, siding, and roofing needs. Radware, your local provider of promotional products, uniforms, and apparel. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Silverback Concrete's a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists that build commercial structures with unrivaled quality. Silverback Concrete, you stand on it, we stand by it. We're going to go back to the Titan MRI hotline, courtesy of Duffield Home Improvements. We're joined by the head baseball coach for the Gators, Kevin O'Sullivan. Coach, how you doing? Appreciate you taking the time to join the program.
You got it, Shane.
Coach, first question for you. As an athlete, coach, competitor, I got to ask you, how tough was this all season being so close to winning another national title?
Yeah, it could be difficult. I've always said that these things are really hard to get over, but you got to move on, right? So, a few inches here or there with Wyatt's ball, he hit the left field in the first game against LSU could have obviously changed the direction of the ending there, but and then obviously we did not play as well as we wanted to the last game. Yeah, it's difficult to get over, but obviously I love the challenge of being able to, get a new roster and figure out the strengths and weaknesses and hopefully put ourselves in position again to have that opportunity again.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Preseason polls, whatever you want to make of that. I think D1 Baseball has us number 2 in America. Obviously, lost some really good players with Langford, Rivera, Riopel. Just talk about some guys that you're counting on to to step in for those guys.
Well, I'll agree with you. The preseason polls don't mean anything. I would disagree with their high rankings so far. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff to obviously figure out and things to get better at. But just looking at the roster, Luke Heyman is someone that kind of flies under the radar for whatever reason. But he had a great freshman year behind the plate. Obviously played behind BT a bunch, but he's really turned the corner for us, and I think he's going to have a great year. Another one that kind of flies under the radar for whatever reason is Cade Curlin, our second baseman. And I think both those guys are extremely, extremely important to our team, not only because of, they play, premium positions, but they have a chance to hopefully protect Jack in the lineup, in front and behind him. So we've got some good players returning that have gotten better. Obviously, the portal's changed recruiting quite a bit, and Colby Shelton, infielder from Alabama, has come in and made a great impact for us, and we've got quite a few other guys. But yeah, our roster is totally different in terms of personnel, but we certainly have enough players so hopefully we can compete at the highest level.
Andy's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Metal Law. He wants to know, where will Colby Shelton bat in the lineup, and how important of an addition was he?
Well, he's really important. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but if you go through the rosters in the SEC last year of the starting shortstops in our league, how many guys came out of the portal? I think it was like 8 or 9 out of 14 teams. So that just goes to show you that there's a little bit less patience, so to speak, for that, for shortstop position. I guess you could say that in football too with the quarterback position, right? Like, you can't win with freshmen, or at least it's difficult to win with freshmen in certain positions. But where he'll hit in the lineup, I'm still trying to toy with that. Right now, if the lineup, I think we're going to see a right-handed pitcher. Not that matters on Friday night, but we'll probably go Michael Robertson 1, and then 2 Cade Curlin, 3 Jack, 4 Luke, and then probably 5 Colby Shelton, and then obviously Shelnut and the other guys 7, 8, 9. But right now, that's probably where he's going to hit. Probably opening night is probably 5th.
Coach, has there been one player that, during fall ball, like, just really, really improved, and you feel like can come out of nowhere and help the team this year?
Yeah, I think, we kind of spoke a little bit about Luke. Dale Thomas is like that guy for me. He brings energy to the field every day. He's a 5th-year senior. He had success at Coastal. He's kind of waited his turn. And I'm hoping that he has the year that we all think he can. But it's one of those rare occasions, at least in our sport, that guys stick around for 5 years or 4 years and end up having a great last year. Most of our guys have the opportunity to sign after their junior year or senior year and move on. But he's one of those rare occasions that he's around for his 5th year, and I'm hoping he has a great year and ends on a real positive note.
Pitching rotation, you're going to start the season. Cade Fisher gets the ball, takes the mound Friday night. Jack's going to pitch on day 3. Who's pitching the second game?
That's going to be Liam Peterson. He's a freshman. We haven't had a freshman start in a few years on the weekend, but he's special. You'll see him, Shane. He looks the part. He's got a great arm. Got a really good breaking ball. Like, he's, hopefully he stays healthy and everything goes the way we expect it to go. But he's the next one that ends up being, well, hopefully can end up being like a really high pick when he leaves here.
And Joseph's question is on Facebook Live, has Jack gotten more control of his pitches? The kid is electric when he hits his spots.
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, right? He has gotten better. I mean, he's gotten better. I mean, I think it's, it's more emotional for him. It's not mechanics. It's just his, he's a competitor, and, you played at the highest level, and, you've seen or, played with guys that have similar traits, like personality wise, like he wants perfection. And when he doesn't get it, and sometimes he can get a bit frustrated with himself, but he has gotten better. But I said this yesterday when we did press conferences, we're not looking for Jack to be perfect or, to change who he is. Maybe we can limit times that he gets frustrated with himself, which will obviously help his performance. But at the end of the day, he is what he is. He's competitive as anybody else out there. And, sometimes guys try to be perfect in imperfect sport, and that's the battle, right? So, but he's gotten better. But when he does throw strikes, he's really good. And when he doesn't, it's our job as coaches to help him, hopefully navigate through that, to still have success, but not change who he is.
Yeah. Jokingly here, Russell on YouTube, brought to you by Quiet Plumber, says, please ask Sully if he has had a chance to work on his counting in the off season. What did he do with the T-shirt? Didn't you auction it off?
Yeah, I auctioned it off. Yeah, we auctioned that thing off. I was actually glad to auction it off. I didn't want anything to do with it, but actually, right from the beginning, Mindy, my wife, she I wouldn't say she forced me to do it, but yeah, she kind of did force me to do it. I didn't want to wear the T-shirt that morning. I didn't want any added attention. I didn't get any sleep. But all in all, the fans were great about it, and they, it was a good joke for everybody for a bit. But I'm still hearing about it to this day. But 2024 is right in front of us. So I'd like to kind of move on from that T-shirt deal.
Jimmy on the Titan Mar text line says, Coach, do you think Brandon Neely is the best closer in the country?
Well, yeah, I'm biased, but yeah, I do. And I say that for a couple of reasons. Number one, the last couple of times out, he's been dynamite. Like the command and stuff has been on point. It's an extremely difficult role to handle at this level. You have to not only be talented, but you have to sometimes give up a little bit of what you want, because everybody wants to start, right? So he's unselfish. He's taken that role, and he's done it. He did it last year, and he's going to even be better this year. So yeah, for me, I love Brandon Neely. He's a gamer. Once the spring rolls around, he's ready to go. So he's looked really sharp in practice. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he does this year. But I would expect him to be one of the best closers in the country for sure. All
right, two more questions. We'll get you out of here. Your thoughts on the new format for the SEC tournament?
That's a good question, Shane. Me personally, I would rather stay with the 12-team tournament. In normal years, we get 10 teams in the regional. Now that we're out in Oklahoma and Texas, you would think that we'd be able to get 11 or 12 teams in the tournament. And with that being said, I think the SEC tournament, which is a great event, an unbelievable event, the people in Hoover do an unbelievable job. I think we could set a precedent that if you make the SEC tournament, and you're in, then you should be, rewarded for having an opportunity to go to the NCAA tournament. And I think that would be a great precedent to set. If honestly, if we finish 13th or 14th or 15th in the league in one particular year, if things don't go right, I'd rather be on the road recruiting, honestly, and trying to fix my roster for the following year. And I think it's going to be difficult for fans. You're going to travel 5, 6, 7 hours, and with your team potentially going to play one game and you're done. It'll be really interesting to see how the fans, how this affects the fan support during that tournament, because it's been a great tournament. I just hope this doesn't affect, obviously the attendance.
Yeah. All right. Last thing for you. I may have asked you this before, but I can't remember. But congratulations on your contract extension. But why has there never been that I can think of, you know, Jim Harbaugh wins the national title, goes and coaches in the National Football League. Why hasn't there been a lot of college head baseball coaches have that opportunity to jump straight to the majors? Is it because of all the minor league managers waiting their turn or what? But why doesn't that ever happen? Like, for the Vandy coach, yourself, some of these really successful college baseball coaches.
It's a good question. I don't know. It's like anything else. There's long-term, ideas of how things work. Baseball's more, seems to be more of an old school, even though there's obviously new ideas and those things involved in the game. But I really don't have an answer for that. But they're two totally different jobs, right? Like the college job, you're living, in a college town, and if we have kids, you're raising kids in one spot.
Mm-hmm.
The program is a bit different. It's a lot more travel. It's a lot more difficult to raise a family. I don't really have an answer for that, but I do think at some point it will change. Like with everything else, everything seems to evolve, but baseball just has not gotten to that point at this point. But we'll see. At some point, somebody will jump. The pitching coach at Arkansas a few years ago got the head job or the pitching coach job with the Twins, and he came back to college, went to LSU for a year, and now he's the head coach at Georgia. So it has happened. It's been few and far between, but hopefully at some point, that'll change a little bit more.
Yeah. Sully, appreciate your time. Good luck this season. We'll be watching, and we'll talk to you soon, my man.
You got it. Thanks, Shane.
Yes, sir. That's Kevin O'Sullivan joining us on the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Duffield Home Improvements. Take a quick time out, come back and wrap up today's program. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch. Duffield Home Improvements for your window, siding, and roofing needs. Radware, your local provider of promotional products, uniforms, and apparel. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right. With the right insurance options for you and your family, visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. I want to thank JC and Coach O'Sullivan for joining us. First pitch is, I think, 6:30 Friday night against St. John's. Saturday does not look great weather-wise. in North Central Florida. This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. In 1971, at the 13th Daytona 500, which is, I believe, this weekend, Richard Petty wins his third Great American Race. Goes on to win the inaugural Winston Cup title that year. That's This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Yeah, I think it's supposed to rain in Daytona, pour on Saturday and Sunday. I can't remember if the race is Saturday or Sunday, but I bet it gets delayed. Gator softball won last night over against JU. They played JU here at KSP tonight. I think they won 10-0 yesterday. So it's that time of the year when a lot of stuff is going on. I think lacrosse cranks up this week as well. And again, basketball, good win last night. Blew a big lead. Give LSU a little bit of credit, but the Gators found a way to win. So they keep rolling along. Andy says, are you a bigger Gators softball fan or baseball? I like both, but I'm big softball. I've been out to Oklahoma City a couple of times. Every time we go, we lose in the national championship series, so I don't go back. That's kind of what I do. So the race is Sunday. Yeah, it's still going to be wet. I still think it's going to get delayed. So anyway, Dan says Reagan Walsh went 3 for 3 with a home run, and Ava Brown has a one-hitter. Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch these young arms they have. Good young softball team. But once conference play starts, it's going to be brutal. And then next year, when the Sooners roll in, oh my goodness, they're on a different level. Yeah, Michael says Sunday's the 500. It will be wet. No question about it. It's going to rain all weekend, unfortunately. Gators travel Saturday. Play the Georgia Bulldogs. Another opportunity to get a good win on the road. So that'll do it for today's program. Tomorrow we'll have Brent Bird, a college football analyst, get some news and notes from him, what's going on. And maybe you'll have some information on what's going on with the strength coach. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Dan says, QB, get me an Oklahoma softball ticket next year. Do we know if they're coming here, or you mean a ticket out to Oklahoma? You're closer to OU than you are Gainesville. So anyway, have a great day, folks. Have a great Valentine's, and we will talk to you soon. See you tomorrow. Take care.